Yes, it's Baby Talk time on the Fuga Breakfast Show right here on SABC3. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Now, your baby's first day of life. It is both exciting and exhausting for the both of you, absolutely. Now, we've heard all the horror stories, but we're here to ease your mind. So if you're wondering what your body physically needs as you prepare for birth, and also a lot of new parents stress about the emotional and psychological preparation for parenthood. So we have Meg Faure with us. She's an occupational therapist guiding us in the right direction. Meg, thank you very much for joining us. What an incredible moment for parents, you know, that the arrival or the preparation for the arrival of your little one. So I think let's get into it, because there's a lot of things, especially new parents, you know, that it's overwhelming. We've just been speaking about it. You don't know what to expect. Nobody can give you a manual and say like, well, this is what it's going to be like.
And even if they tell you what it's going to be like, it's just completely foreign. I mean, it's nothing can prepare
Everyone's
you.
experience is a little bit different.
It is.
So let's talk about it. As parents, and especially women, prepare for birth, from a physical point of view, I mean, what are some of the main needs I feel that maybe women should be aware of?
Well, first of all, it's not called labor for nothing. It is hard work. So it's very important that moms are fit. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. So please, moms must keep up their fitness. And good idea for those last kind of 10 weeks of pregnancy is to walk at least 30 minutes every day. Walking is wonderful. It's also good because it can turn your baby around into the correct position. So we want our babies, in a position so they'll come out easily. And if you're exercising nicely, that can do it. Another form of exercise that's fabulous is something like yoga or Pilates. First of all, a lot of the positions like child pose and cat stretch, they actually can kind of stretch out the ligaments in the pelvis to make birth a little bit easier as well. So exercise right up to the end is really, really important.
Absolutely. And I also feel like in the same vein, if you know that you are going to be trying for a baby, make sure that you build a strong, fit foundation going into the pregnancy as well, because, I mean, you don't want to start, halfway through your pregnancy, okay, now I need to try and get fit. It's not going to happen. Absolutely.
And there's certain exercises you shouldn't be doing, like, for instance, cycling and, jarring activities and certain strength exercises. But certainly your walking and your Pilates are really good for preparing for birth.
I want to ask you this. We'll come back to the emotional and psychological side of preparation. But babies, they're really expensive. And if you're a first-time parent, and this is what we touched on off air, how do you know what do you need to buy? Because there's so much. There's so much. And it's something that myself and my wife, we went through with our firstborn, and you just don't know. So you end up buying everything. No, for sure. And the temptation is to think, gosh, well, you don't know what you need, so you go for everything. So there's a couple of things that I encourage parents not to get ahead of time. One of them is too many cute clothes. You're going to be given cute clothes for your stalk party and when your baby comes. When everybody knows it's a boy, they're going to give you the cute little tackies. But just hold back on the clothing side of things. There are some essentials that you can't skimp on. So things like a travel system and a car seat system, that's essential. You have to leave the hospital with that for safety reasons. So spend money on that. Spend money on a good carrier. So I love the upright carriers, the wrap style. I prefer those. A good breast pump, particularly if you're returning to work, and if you are going back to work, get an electric breast pump rather than a manual breast pump, because it's going to take a lot quicker. So those are things that I think you have to have. In terms of the absolute basics, you need about 4 packs of newborn nappies. And I always encourage parents to go for the cheapest nappies they can get. Because you're going to go through like 9 in a day in daylight hours, because the baby does these little squirts of poo all the time. So go for cheap ones there, and then have 1 pack of really expensive nappies for nighttime, so that they can, kind of hold everything in for as much as possible at night. So those are the sort of things that you should be going for. I think wait and see what you get for your stalk party. Things like bottle sterilizers and bottle systems you don't need if you're going to be breastfeeding. So wait and see. So there's a lot of wait and see in the purchasing game. I think it's just that anticipation of like, do I have everything? And then you get advice from that mom and this guy, and it's like, oh, we love using this because this works for us, but not necessarily for you. But there's so much. Meg, thank you very much. We're going to continue with our baby talk in just a little bit. We'll get into that emotional and psychological side in terms of preparation before you have your little one.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is once again time for some baby talk on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. This morning we're hanging out with occupational therapist Meg Faure, helping us prepare for baby's arrival, what you should know, what you should get, what you should not get. We've been speaking about that, Meg. Thank you very, very much. A very exciting time in the life of parents. We said that we touched on some of the baby essentials, that we should look out for getting, and those things that we can wait a little bit. But now, in terms of your physical and emotional well-being, how do we prepare for that? Because it's such a big change. Your life is literally going to flip upside down for the better. But I mean, is there any way that you can kind of make that transition maybe a little bit easier?
So I think we all have preconceived ideas, and actually this is a great image because this is what we think parenthood is going to be like. But the truth is parenthood and birth can really go in very different directions. You will have moments of this beautiful kind of calm and, but
about 2 seconds.
About 2 seconds. But a lot of it feels very out of control. And I think the biggest thing parents can do psychologically is to prepare themselves for the unexpected and to be flexible, because things are going to go awry. So just take birth as an example. We have an expectation and a real commitment to, let's say, having a natural delivery, and that sometimes doesn't happen. And, I think it's important that parents are flexible. Your natural delivery is also more likely to happen if you are flexible, because labor can come and go. I mean, you can be in full-blown labor and then have a little lull. And don't get in a state about it, be flexible. And the same with your baby afterwards. Your baby is going to be their own human being. They're doing this for the first time, and so are you.
They're trying to figure it out just as much.
Exactly, and there is no manual, and there's no advice that you can take that will be gospel for you and your baby. So be flexible would be the number one thing.
I just remember how big a change it was, because, for so many years it was just me and my wife, and all of a sudden there's another body in the house. And we got so busy. Things got so busy.
And your relationship changes as well, because you just,
the focus all of it,
she's suddenly having to focus on breastfeeding and raising a little one, and you don't have the same amount of time together. So
exactly. Breastfeeding is also a very big issue, of course. There are whole campaigns that's been going out, breast is best. What advice or tips? Because I think there's actually moms who either take to it very naturally, or there's moms who's kind of maybe scared about, maybe there's a worry, is like, am I going to be able to do it? Am I going to do it naturally? What is your advice on that and do it and approach this topic?
So breastfeeding is just an anomaly, because we think it's going to happen naturally because it's the most natural thing in the world. But actually it's something that many of us haven't even seen somebody breastfeed before in the culture that we live in now. And so when it comes to it, just latching a baby is completely foreign. So a couple of things that I recommend. The first thing is, get yourself a good lactation consultant. These women are amazing. They know how to help you latch your baby. They can prepare you ahead of birth for that first day, and they can even come into hospital on the first day and help you latch. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, I really do recommend that babies latch immediately after birth. So within the first hour, they need to latch, and that has been shown to have a long-term impact on whether or not a baby breastfeeds. So as long as your baby's healthy, they'll be latched within the first hour. And then also get yourself a good breast pump. I actually expressed at the end of every single feed, which would trick my body into thinking that my baby was demanding more than it actually was. And that meant that I could build up my milk supply as well. Because in the early days, you're going to have to feed on demand. You're going to have to be available a lot of the time to get your milk supply up. So those are kind of the principles. Get a lactation consultant, feed on demand, get a good breast pump, and feed early and often on the first day. Awesome.
I think that is where we leave it for today. Thank you very much, Meg. That is very, very important as well. And also what we've experienced is, in hospital, we didn't get a lactation expert, or but in the hospital, you have these nurses who's very well qualified and they know their stuff, so they can also help you out right there at the beginning. Meg, thank you very, very much.
Thanks,
it's
Ian.
exciting. So, hey, for you guys and your new parents out there that's maybe expecting your firstborn, all the best of luck. It's going to be absolutely incredible.